Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I hope you all had a nice and relaxing spring break. There's some weird flickering happening in my background right now. I hope that you don't see that. So, I was wondering over your spring break, did you guys try any new activities? Did you watch anything funny or interesting? Please share with us. We would love to know about it. I made my first ever homemade matzo ball soup and it was delicious. And I hosted my first ever virtual Passover Seder, which was also quite lovely. I've shared with you guys some videos that I think you might find are interesting. The first one is this Science of Happiness lecture that I watched. And fun fact, Miss Pearson's sister in law's uncle is the one that gave the talk. It's really awesome. So you can watch that there. And I've also shared with you some funny videos here. I'm really into John Krasinski's Such Good News. If you haven't seen them, you should totally spend 45 minutes watching them. The second one is awesome if you love Hamilton, and the third one is great if you love baseball. This one is just a funny video of dinosaurs delivering pizza, but you have to click on the Facebook link to see it. In other news, as I've said before, and I will say again, Ms. Pearson and I are devastated that we are not finishing the year with you guys, and we're going to do whatever we can to make the next couple of weeks interesting and engaging and exciting. And we know it doesn't take the place of being there with you guys in person, but we will do whatever we can to make it interesting. And without talking to any of my colleagues about this, I feel very strongly that we will do something special for Florence come the fall. It seems like you guys are really into the Borders project, so we're going to extend that for about another 2 weeks, and we're going to finish the year with Latin America. And in the best news of all, just in case you haven't seen my email, Ms. Press had her baby, a beautiful, beautiful baby boy named William Robert Bowers. He is adorable. So that's all. Sending you guys big, big hugs. Please come to office hours this week if you have any questions or just to say hi. I love chatting with you guys. So let me go through the plan for the week, and I'm going to go through it for two different groups. The first is the group that is entirely caught up in work. So if you are entirely caught up in work, you will have received feedback on both your Borders Learning Log and your Borders Research Organizer. Therefore, you can start with this plan here. I'm highlighting it here. If you are on track, follow this plan. Today, please review our comments on your research. For the majority of you, this means finding more firsthand accounts, stories, and quotes to show the real human side of the border. So, for example, you all have a really good understanding of the differences between political, social, and economic impact, but we would really like to see you have more of an understanding or more of a grasp on the toll that it's taking on the people that live there or who have lived there. So I've given you guys some suggestions on how to find that information. You want to spend about an hour today reviewing our comments and finding more research. Tomorrow, I would like you to finish the research on your organizer. That should take an additional hour. Thursday and Friday, you can start creating your presentation. And I've given you some presentation options below, and I will explain that in a minute. Each day, you should spend about 30 minutes working on it. Now, we've recommended that you start with the detailed historical history of the border, which, as I read this, looks repetitive. But you want to start with the blue part of the organizer, the very first part. And you should spend 2 days working on that piece of your presentation. Please note that if you are on track with all of your assignments, you have no assignments due this Friday. I will say that again. If you are on track with all of your assignments, you have nothing due this Friday. You have 2 full weeks to complete the project. And that is why we are recommending that you spend Thursday and Friday just working on part of the organizer, just the historical background part. Next week, you can focus on the impact piece, and if you're in AS, the artistic component. Please know we will also be giving you a bit of an additional work next week on the Socratic seminar. but details for that will follow. Just keep that in mind. So again, this is if you are on track and finished all of your work. If you are not on track, not a problem. I've become a much nicer human being since being in quarantine, and we have decided that you can still receive full credit for either or both the Borders Learning Log and the Borders Research Organizer. I'll say that again, full credit. Just email us once it's done so we know it's been submitted and so we can grade it. My recommendation would be start with the Learning Log and then go into the organizer. Start with the Learning Log and then go into the organizer. It's going to be very hard to understand the project if you don't do the Learning Log. Okay? So that is if you are missing work. I'm also available to meet with you one-on-one in Zoom. If you need help getting caught up, I can help you create a to-do list. Your advisor can also help you with that. If you scroll down here, you will see our office hours for this week. We do not have office hours today, but we will have double office hours tomorrow. Mine on Thursday, Ms. Pearson's on Friday. Okay, So now we are going down to the border project requirements. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to showcase your knowledge of your border research. Let's say if you did India, Pakistan, or Israel, Palestine, or US, Mexico, through an engaging and creative presentation, play, art piece, etc. No matter what option you choose, you will be recording yourself. I miss seeing your faces and hearing your voices every day, and this seemed like fun. The software that you're going to use to record yourself will either be Screencastify or Flipgrid. You're going to have the option to turn on the video like I do, because I know you all miss my face. If you don't want to turn on the video, that's fine, but I need to hear your voice in some capacity. I'm going to give you more information about how to use those tools next week. I just wanted to give you the heads up. What I do recommend this week is just testing to see if your webcam and, more importantly, your microphone work. If they do not, or you're worried about it, let us know this week. Okay, what are the guidelines? You're going to have 2 full weeks to finalize your research and to create your final product. This allows for plenty of time for you to come to office hours to ask us questions and to get creative. We've given you 3 options below. If you have another idea, just check in with us and we can sign off on it. But do not do another idea without checking in with us. The district still has not come to a conclusion about the grading for the rest of the year. So as of right now, this will be worth 30 points in the summative assessment category. And it will be due Friday, April 24th at midnight. That is a week from this Friday. Okay, moving right along. The requirements. Regardless of which of the 3 options you choose, you must include all the research from your organizer. So I'm going to say that again. Regardless of which option you choose, you must include all the different components from the organizer. Historical background on the border, social impact, political impact, economic impact, and the artistic representation. That's AS required, CP optional. Now, again, remember, I think this week you should just focus on the historical background of the border. Next week, you can focus on the impacts. So here are a couple of ideas that we came up with. First, you can create a Google Slides presentation. You can use those pretty slides from Slides Carnival, and you can record yourself just like Ms. Pearson and I did when we introduced the borders. You can upload it to YouTube, and then you will upload it, and then it will integrate right with Canvas. Please note that it needs to be 8 to 10 minutes, so you're going to have to practice in advance to make sure you hit the time limit. So again, that's a Google Slides presentation where you record yourself explaining the content just like you would if we were in class together. Then you have an option of writing a script or a screenplay, and you can videotape yourself or your family members acting it out. I'm new to screenplays and scripts, so I just Googled some options. So you can, if you have better ideas or understand more about drama, feel free to let me know. It can be chronological. Your play can start when the border was created. Your play can start when the border was created, and you can explain how and why it happened. It can then transition into the story of how it impacted people on a political, economic, and social level. It could also be parallel. You could get real creative here. Your play could follow multiple storylines which are tied together through an event: building the wall, taking down the wall, a major conflict. You could look at two characters, maybe a love story on either side of the border, or a theme: resistance, resilience, courage, etc. Just make sure, and this is the most important, that you include all of these components here. All right, the last option. Oh, sorry. This also has to be 8 to 10 minutes when you're acting it out. The art piece. This is where you can create a song, a painting, drawing, a spoken word poem, etc. You will record yourself displaying the art piece, just like I'm displaying my planner right now. And I would move it really close to the screen and I would hold it up so we could see it. After you have displayed or performed, if you're acting or doing a spoken word, you need to record yourself answering the questions below. How did you come up with it? Why did you create it? So on and so forth. You can see the questions here. You must answer all of these questions after you have displayed or performed your art piece. And again, this should be 8 to 10 minutes. If you prefer a more creative approach to share information about the border, option 2 and 3 may be a good idea for you. If you want to go more traditional, definitely go with the Google Slides. And last but not least, here is the rubric. We are grading you on your voice. Speak clearly, speak loudly. Okay, we want to be able to understand you. That's why I would recommend practicing first and practicing in front of family so they can hear you to make sure they understand you. We are also grading you on the visual presentation, how creative it is, how concise it is. And then, of course, as always, on the content, how you are able to concisely but eloquently explain the material. And of course, most importantly, do you understand the border that you are presenting? And this is where it's really going to be important that you go back and look at our feedback. Okay, guys, I think that's all for this week. I hope to see you in office hours on Wednesday and Thursday. I will send more information next week about how to upload this to Screencastify or Flipgrid. I miss you guys so much. Sending you big, big hugs, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.